Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So as you can tell from the title of this video, today I'm going to be doing another kind of autumnal makeup tutorial. I know I literally just posted one of these on my channel, but the one that I posted before was quite a glam, more sort of like going out appropriate makeup. If you didn't already see it, by the way, I'll link it in the description box below, but that one was definitely more of a glam kind of full-on makeup look, and quite a few of you in the comments said that you wanted to see more of a natural kind of everyday autumnal makeup look. So that is what I'm doing today. I have quite a few new products to kind of play with and test and try out. I've got quite a lot of like skin products and then a few new little bits as well. So yeah, today I just want to kind of sit down and play around with some makeup, and I'm going to do it a little bit more natural so that it's more appropriate for kind of like every day. So I already put on earlier a little bit of moisturiser and a little bit of Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. So I'm not going to go over with any more moisturiser because I feel like my skin is already looking quite kind of hydrated. But I do have a couple new primers I want to try out. The first one is that I don't know how to pronounce this. I think it's HENDRICKSON. This is the Banana Bright Face Primer, and I've seen so many people talk about this online recently. This is supposed to be just a really good kind of like more brightening, illuminating primer, which I'm all up for. I love glowy skin. So yeah, I picked this up from Boots. It's about £28, so it's not the cheapest. I have used it a few times before, but I do want to just try it out again in this video because I haven't really formed an opinion on this yet. And then I did also pick up yesterday as well the e.l.f. This is the Putty primer. Again, this one is like so raved about online, and it was sold out in my Superdrug for ages. So when I saw this yesterday, I grabbed it because I've wanted to try this for a really long time. So this one is supposed to be really good for pores. So I'm going to be using this one first and then just press this one kind of over the top, I guess. Okay, so that's my skin prep done. I mean, I really like the way my skin looks. It looks very kind of glowy and fresh. That banana primer feels really nice and hydrating, and also obviously it's got the glow. And then I literally just put the e.l.f. primer just around my nose and cheeks because that's where I suffer more open pores on my skin. Now for foundation, I'm going to go in with the Maybelline. This is the Dream Urban Cover Full Coverage Foundation. I actually spoke about this in one of my more recent videos. I think it was my dupes video, or was it my favourites video? I can't remember, but this I only have in my fake tan shade, so I did actually pick this up in my normal shade as well, like my normal colour shade, because I really like this foundation. So yeah, I'm just going to be going in with this. This I picked up in the shade 100 Warm Ivory. I think it's going to be a tiny bit too yellow for me, but we're going to see how it looks. So I'm just going to take this on my Real Technique sponge. Yeah, this colour is not perfect for me. As you can see, it's a little bit too pale and also a little bit too yellow. I feel like we can work with it though. It's not awful. It's not the worst I've ever had. So next for concealer, I'm really actually excited to try this because I've been looking for this in my Boots and Superdrug for ages and haven't been able to find it. But yesterday I was finally able to find it. This is the Maybelline SUPERSTAY Full Coverage Under Eye Concealer. I picked this up in the shade 05. I don't know again if it's going to be a good shade for me, but they didn't have a lot of shades in stock and this looked around about the right colour for me. So in case you didn't already know, I absolutely love the foundation version of this. So if the concealer is anything like the foundation, then we're on to a winner because I absolutely love the foundation. I think it's one of the best out of all of the drugstore foundations I've ever tried, so I do have high hopes for this. Hopefully it's really good as well. So I'm just going to go straight under my eyes with this. Again, I think the shade isn't going to be perfect. It definitely looks a little bit pale, but I always like my concealer to be a little bit paler under my eyes anyway. The consistency looks really weird. It looks quite thin and like moussey, not like anything that I would have expected it to be like, because the foundation is very full coverage. So it's definitely not as full coverage as what I'm used to. I can still see like my blue bags poking through underneath. So I'm just going to go in with another little layer, just right where that blue part of my eye is, and blend that in. Okay, so I can already tell that this concealer isn't going to be one of my favourites, but it's definitely not awful. I just think it's just, I'm going to see how it looks when I powder it. That will be the biggest kind of test. So I'm just going to powder this with my RCMA No Colour powder. This is the powder that I use literally every day. I'm just going to do what I normally do, which is kind of like, I don't really bake, I'm more just like put the powder on the sponge and then like kind of press it into the eye, just so that it really sets the concealer and it doesn't budge, because I do have really creasy under eyes. No matter what concealer I use, my under eyes crease like a bitch. I just have this crack under my eyes that concealer and product just loves to sit in. so I do need to set my under eye quite heavily when I put anything like concealer underneath my eye. I just usually take whatever's left over on the sponge around my mouth and my nose. Right, so I really need to add some colour to my skin because I'm actually looking like I've just died right about now. I literally hate looking at myself at this stage in the mirror because I just look so colourless and like, just, yeah. So I'm going to go in with a bit of contour. This is the good old-fashioned Kevyn Aucoin sculpting powder in the shade Light. I've recently got back into this. I really like this product. It's a really good contour shade for me. So I like to take it on this is the Zoeva, yeah, the Zoeva Cream Cheek Brush 128. I'm just going to take a little bit of that and kind of press that in the hollows of my cheeks. It's just a really good cool toned contour. It really does help to sculpt, but for whatever reason I don't really feel like you can go that overboard with this at the same time. Like, it always looks natural even if you put on a little bit too much. Most of the time I won't really do contour. I'll just do kind of like bronzer and call it a day, but sometimes I feel like doing a little bit extra, so this is when I whack this bad boy out. I'm just taking it around my hairline as well. And I do also like to take this kind of roughly down the side of my nose as well. I don't ever really get out like a small brush and like really focus on contouring my nose because, to be honest, I'm a bit shit at contouring my nose. I've never really mastered the art of the nose contour yet, so I'm just using this same brush just to sort of run some down the side of my nose. Okay, now for bronzer, I'm going to go in... Oh, my hair's gone a bit grey. Now for bronzer, I'm going to go in with an old sort of love. This one is the very well loved, overloved bronzer. This is the Body Shop bronzing powder in shade 1. This is the honey bronzer. I absolutely love this for when I'm like a little bit paler and just doing my normal skin tone as opposed to using fake tan, because this is a really good colour. For me, when I'm not tanned, I absolutely love this bronzer. So I'm just going to take that on a Real Techniques brush, just kind of go on the tops of the cheeks as opposed to in the hollows, and I'm just going to take some on my temples as well. You know, there's so many people in this world that think that bronzer should literally be put over your whole face. Like, I work on a makeup counter and the things I see people do with bronzer, I'm like, bitch, it's just supposed to go like here. It's not supposed to go like over your whole face. Like, I don't get what possesses people to do that. I mean, I'm really sorry if you're one of those people that does that, but please just don't. Just don't. Tops of the cheeks and on your forehead is where bronzer should stay and not all over your whole face. Oh my god, I should film a video about my stories that I have from working on a makeup counter, because honestly, things I see people do with makeup, oh my god. But I think I might actually get fired, so maybe let's not do that. I'm just going to take some underneath my fat double chin and down my neck as well. So for my blush, I'm going to be taking this Technique Matte Mega Blush Quad. I'm just going to mix all the shades together and just kind of put this on the apples of my cheeks. I'm just taking this Spectrum brush for this, just kind of mixing them. I'm really going to tap off the excess because I don't want the blush to be too strong. And I'm just going to put this on my cheeks. Oh no, I put too much on this side, shit. Okay, I've decided I don't like that Technique blush quad. I just find it's too pigmented. Like, I only wanted a little bit and it's just made my cheeks look way too intense. I prefer blushes that I can build as opposed to them being like way too pigmented off the bat, because then you just end up with a mess and then you spend longer trying to blend it. If it was just less pigmented, then you would be able to have more control and just be able to put as much on as you want. Whereas when they're too pigmented like this, you just end up looking like a clown and then you just spend all of your time trying to blend it off, and it's just not my jam, you know? I just prefer something that's easier to use. So that's a no from me. That will be going to my mum. Okay, but a product I do really love from Technique is their Technique Mega Glow Highlighter Palette. Again, I've spoken about this briefly before. This one is really nice. I'm going to be using this shade here at the top. Such a nice highlight. Just like a really nice wet looking glow. I'm just going to put some on my nose as well. Okay, so I'm feeling like I want to do some faux freckles. Nothing crazy, but just a few little freckles on my nose just to make the skin look a bit more natural and cute. So I'm going to go in with my eyeliner from TILBURY. This one is in the shade Audrey. I'm just going to dot a few little dots on my face to just make myself look a bit more youthful and cute, you know. So I'm just going to start on my nose. I tried this the other day and it looked quite nice, but it was definitely something that I had to get used to. I kept looking at myself in the mirror and being like, do I like it? Do I not? So I'm just going to put a few on and then tap them in, just so they're less intense. And then also just take some on my cheeks as well. Whoa, that was a big one. I'm just going to quickly do my brows off camera. I just use the same thing every time, which is the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Lift in the shade Supermodel, and then just run through some clear brow gel. So I'm just going to do that really quickly off camera, and then I'm going to be back to finish off the face. Right, so my brows are on, and I now feel like the brows on the faux freckles look a little bit more better, like they look a little bit more realistic. I don't know why, I feel like I've just got used to them. Let me know what you think of the freckles. I'm not sure, but I'm getting used to them. So anyway, I basically created my own Makeup Geek palette. I spent about £75 on single eyeshadows, and I got all of these shades because I realised that I only really use on a daily basis when I'm just doing my makeup, you know, for like any kind of event. I mostly use these kind of warm brown colours with a few little shimmers, and I keep buying these big palettes, but I'm finding that I'm not using all of the colours. I'm just sticking towards the more matte kind of like browns. So I decided to create my own palette with Makeup Geek. Obviously I ordered these all online, so I had no idea what they were really going to look like before I ordered them, but I'm really happy with the kind of colours that I picked out. And yeah, they gave me this free kind of palette thing to put them in as well. So yeah, I'm going to create an eye look using these. I've never used Makeup Geek eyeshadows before. I've just used a few of these briefly, but nothing too crazy. I do really want to use this shade down here, which is like insane. Look at that. It's like a really nice gold, so I definitely want to use that today. Mum, can you just bring me a bit of toilet roll, please? Thank you. Let me shut my door. Thank you. I'm going to start off with this shade at the top, which is kind of like a really pale yellowy brown. I'm just going to use this as a kind of base for my eyeshadow. And a transition colour, I'm going to be using this on a Charlotte Tilbury blender brush. Don't really know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something really quick, really simple, and kind of daytime appropriate, because you guys said that you wanted to see more of a daytime autumn look, so that is what I'm doing. I believe this shade is called Peaches and Cream. What I will do though is, rather than popping them all out now and telling you the names, I'll just link them in the description box in order of use. So if you want to know the exact eyeshadow shades I've used from Makeup Geek, I will put them in the description box below, just so that it's quicker and easier. That is a really beautiful kind of transition shade actually. I really like that. Right, now I'm going to go into the shade Next Door. That's not the name of the shade, I mean like next door. And I'm going to again put this through the crease. I'm just kind of building this up. This is going to go a little bit lower than that shade that we just used. I'm just going to do one eye, and then I'm going to do the other eye off camera just to save time. With my eyeshadow, I always like to wing it out a little bit and just really pull it out at the end, just to give myself that kind of cat eye effect. Now I'm going to go in with this dark chocolatey colour here. I think this is called Cocoa Bear, and I'm going to take it on this small blank canvas E10 brush, just because I want this to sit more precisely on my outer kind of corner. And I'm just going to go in small little circular motions just to kind of blend that, and I'm going to wing it out a slight bit as well. And then I'm very slightly going to take whatever's left on the brush through the crease, and then go back into the first brush and just blend. And then I'm just building this up until I'm happy with the colour. Obviously at this point you would go kind of as dark or as pale as you want. So now I'm going to go in with the gold shade, and I'm just going to take a little bit of this on my finger because it spreads really far from what I can tell from the swatches. I'm just going to put this on the lid. Wow, that shade is amazing. I love that. This eye look has definitely gone a little bit more dramatic than what I wanted it to, so sorry about that. I did want this to be more natural, but it's ended up just turning out a little bit more dramatic. I'm gonna leave it there. So that was like really quick, like that literally took me under 5 minutes, obviously to do one eye. I've still got to do the other eye. But now what I'm gonna do is just go in with a little bit of liner. This one is the SENSAI one that I always use and always rave about, but this is actually in the shade brown. So this is like a dark brown colour, which is a little bit less intense than a black. It is very, very dark, so it's almost like just a kind of off black, if that makes any kind of sense. So I'm just gonna do a little kind of wing, nothing too dramatic. So I've just finished my other eye and I just literally just rubbed off my foundation on my lips. Now I'm just going to go in with a little bit of mascara. I'm not going to do lashes because obviously I want this to be very quick and easy, very kind of everyday appropriate. So I'm just going to go in with my telescopic mascara from L'Oreal, and I'm just basically gonna pop this on only my top lashes, and what I'm doing is just really pulling my lashes out this way. I like doing this with my mascara because it just makes my eyes look more cat eye and more almond, which is definitely very flattering considering I have very little beady circular eyes, so I like to make them look as long as possible. With this look as well, I'm actually going to leave the bottom lash line completely free of any eyeshadow, just because I feel like when you do that, it just makes your eyes look a little bit more open, a little bit more awake, and kind of cute as well. Because I'm going for that more kind of youthful look today with the freckles, I feel like it really goes quite well. For lips, I'm actually going to do no liner today. I'm going to take some Bond Girl lipstick from Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm just going to put that on my lips, and then I'm going to smudge it in. I only want a little bit. I really like this lipstick shade, it's really nice, especially for autumn. So I think I'm going to leave it at that for the lips. I actually really like that way that looks. I was going to put a bit of gloss on the top, but I feel like I want to keep it more matte. Just to finish off, I'm going to take a tiny bit of the highlighter that I used earlier and just put that in my inner corner, just to brighten everything up a little bit. And then just to finish off, I'm going to take this Technique. This is the Mega Mist Illuminating Spray. I'm just going to spritz this over my whole face. And yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. So that is the finished look. I actually really like it. I would say I'm definitely not a massive fan of that concealer. I feel like it looks quite cakey under my eyes, and it's also creasing a little bit. But I really do like the foundation, and actually the colour is fine. It's a little bit yellow, but I can definitely work with it. The eyeshadows blended beautifully. I'm honestly obsessed with those Makeup Geek eyeshadows. That's the first time that I've properly used them, and to me they look amazing. So if you did enjoy the video, then please be sure to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe if you haven't already. That would be amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.